Well, I mean, the beginning to this would have been the Van Doren Invitational in 2013. But I mean, in terms of the concept of park events in bowls, the beginning of it's like 1982 with, the earliest BMX contests. That's why you made a comment earlier, you said something about traditional park contests, and I'm like, if you've been around long enough, this is a traditional park contest. Concrete bowls is where, BMX events began, and honestly, ramps were just sort of something we had to do to deal with concrete parks disappearing. And I love a good backyard ramp setup as much as anybody else, but ramp contests were kind of like something that we did to replace what was a kick-ass concrete event. So now with events all over with skate parks all over the place, why not be holding a series like this? Especially when the style of riding, you get guys that can rip it up on trails, guys that can rip it up on vert, guys that, even street elements in this. It brings like BMX together as a whole. And the Van Doren Invitational was just sort of our template. Like, look, we can do more of these. And so, myself and Parody, McCoy Productions have been working close with batters on these things for several years now. And managed to put this together on a shoestring budget, I would say, meaning there wasn't a bunch of corporate dollars that existed for this. We were like, what if we did it this way? What if we did it this way? And a big part of that is bringing it to a place like Malaga. When Ruben designs this awesome skate park and people want to travel there as a destination, it's just like a no-brainer. And the event so far, we haven't even held it yet, but just the vibe of practice shows like this was a good choice. The main similarities between this stop, the previous stop, and the next stop is they're all going to be a blast. People are going to go off, and the riders in this love it, and we hear them, we listen to feedback, and that's every event that I've ever run, that's what it's been about. Unfortunately, sometimes the people you run the event for don't really give a shit to hear what the riders want. Vans cares, they always have. They've taken that approach, it's for the riders and the riders first. Other things like the audience, the crowd matters to them, but if you make an event for the riders and the riders first, instead of what somebody that doesn't ride thinks makes the most sense to them, you're gonna come out with the best product. Screw the word product, you're gonna come out with the best gathering, party, whatever you wanna call it. A bunch of BMXers getting together, throwing down for the sake of like pushing the sport forward and having a blast. When you ask about the current state of BMX contests, I'm thinking of these contests as a big part of that current state. There's a lot of lame contests out there still. I'll say that. There's cookie cutter courses. There's a lot of things. When I designed like all the ramp courses for the Do Tour, I went into that knowing I was working with like sort of a limited, you had a certain size inside an arena. I had the same ramps I was redesigning. So you got creative with sort of these stock ramps. You don't have that with this. You got concrete shit that flows every direction, got different riding styles. So a lot of the limitations from the standard like park style contest, we don't have that here. And if one park's better than another for one guy, it's the opposite for the other guy. So I think the state of comps right now is awesome because we have these. If you took these out of the mix, I don't know, certainly wouldn't have near as much to be stoked about. For me personally, this is my 32nd year competing. And I've seen it go through phases where it was AFA comps, into 2-hip comps, into the BS comps, into X Games and Do Tours and everything else. And it's almost one long continuous thing, but here we are in 2017, and we're as close to we were in 1984 as we've ever been. And it's as awesome as it's ever been. So in many ways, contests kind of got steered off path for a number of reasons, a big one being they filled in all the skate parks and ripped them down. But now they're all over the place. So I don't view this as an untraditional park contest. I view this as a legit park contest. And the other ones are making do with what you can build and shove it inside an arena. There isn't a shoe company or a company out there at all that has had like the nonstop commitment to BMX as Vans has. I started riding like hardcore in the late 70s, and Vans was already established. The first time you bought a BMX magazine, you were like, what are those shoes? So for them to be like a presence in our sport for that long, there's no way in hell they're going away anytime soon. And anybody at Vans would tell you the same thing. So we'll tweak things, we'll adjust things as we need. but expect to see more of these and expect them to be a blast. As new riders come into the scene, we're going to provide them an avenue in. These regional qualifiers, we had over 100 people sign up for this. So you whittle that 100 down to the 10 that are joining the 21 people that already have earned a spot into this, and you've got the best riders in the world, and you've got an opportunity for the next generation of the best riders in the world to join the current and past generations in one big, happy, dysfunctional family.